Hello and welcome to Wrestleopinionated. This is our weekly show all about the shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg and this is...
Blood for the Blood God, Matt Strange, and this is...
Vote for the Mo God? I don't know. Oh, Mo.
Pretend you don't know what I'm talking about, Mo. It's Total War.
We weren't talking about this off screen.
So next week's tier list is sorted then.
Corn.
Siege.
Hi everybody, welcome to our Total War podcast. We'll be talking about Total War.
This isn't the first time that it's been a Total War podcast.
No, I like my opportunities to talk about my tiny little strategy game that drives my missus insane.
Tiny little strategy. Come on, let's not sell it short.
120 gig. Let's go. So, wrestling.
Watched a lot of wrestling this week?
Like 3 hours? 4 hours?
Yeah, I think I'm on about the normal, to be honest.
Just the norm. It was a relaxing week.
Yeah, I haven't overdone it actually. I've even barely watched any Danhausen stuff. Barely. I did.
Holy shit!
I showed Carly some stuff.
I found a Danhausen match and I shared it to one of our private groups. It was not a good choice. I saw Danhausen versus Orange Cassidy on YouTube and went, I'll share that because Mo said that he hasn't watched any Danhausen matches. And then I watched it and went, yeah, I probably could have chosen much better.
I don't want to say there's a bit of gimmick over substance, boys, but...
to be fair, he was hardly in it. It was all gimmick. The match itself was very gimmick over substance. Anyway. Well, carry on. No, carry on, Mo.
No, don't worry. It was just going to go. I watched him against someone whose name I can't remember and I've never seen before or will again. And it was a really, really sound 2-minute, quickly, let's get this over with match, but I really enjoyed it. But yeah, sorry, anyway, carry on.
So, this might be the first time you have watched us, listened to us, seen us, and as such you would need to know we have a tier list, which is how we give our scores for the individual matches of Dynamite and Rampage and overall... Dynamite Rampage. Right, Mr. Strange, you've been challenged.
Alcoholic beverages for a tier list. Right, let's roll. I've knocked this out in like the last 45 seconds, so let's do this. You all know a good tier list. Letters, in order, star scale, blah. We start with our lowest ranking alcoholic beverage and match. This is a bad match, it's a bad drink, maybe it's a weak squash match, maybe there's no story, maybe the match is terrific. That's our D-rank shitty ones. And I'm giving it to every hipster brewdog ale in the world because they sue any company with punk or dog in its name, even though they're a punk beer. And it's fucking sell out, fucking ponder to the masses. Just cheap advertised bollocks, and I hate it, and I hate you, Mo. But Mo did, in fact, bring a worse beer to show me in this situation. The worst beer of all time, and I've never tasted it, has to go to this Camden Marmite Ale. Disgusting. That's what a bad wrestling match is. It's a Marmite beer. Right, C is a good wrestling match. It's what we come to expect from a wrestling match. Enough story while they're in the ring. Clean enough match. Nothing special, but we're entertained. Lager. Basic lager. Oh, have a point, please, mate. At the fucking Rovers return, they just slide a lager over. Particularly reputable beer there, Mo.
I'm not wearing my vest to beat my wife.
Match +1. A little bit more story. A little bit more depth. The wrestling's cleaner. It's just better than a C. Better than a lager. It's an ale. A lovely hoppy ale. Preferably from the West Midlands. Delicious. A, top of the reasonable tree. The phenomenal matches where we have story in, story out, story in the ring, hopefully. Really clean match. Lots of cool shit you don't normally see. You know why they're there. You don't look away. You talk about it to other wrestling fans who do go, yeah, that suplex was good. And that's a fine whiskey. I've been personally told the best one is a Glenfiddich 12, but I'm still learning. I drink it by the bottle, though. And S rank matches. What is the top of the tree? What is the luchador and ninjas of drinks? What is the undead wizards and fucking horse riding scenes and bikers and all manner of bollocks? What is this true cinematic story piece of drinks? We've got two. We've got the old fashioned, recommended by Morg, the first cocktail. Lovely, very nice. And my personal favourite one, a cocktail infamous and drank by students to old people alike. A full range endorsed by Big Jeff. White Russian. God, it's delicious. Right, so that's our tier list. C, shitty, Brewdog. C, good, lager. D, very good, ale. A, phenomenal, Glenfiddich. And S, the dude's favourite drink, a masterpiece for all ages. White Russians. There you go, Morg.
I was really hoping you were going to say Sex on the Beach, but there you go.
Don't drink hipster cocktails. Only drink things with miserable old men have with like lime and egg whites in. I'm that guy.
Right, let's move on. News. Mostly, I believe, Mr. Strange, that the news has been about stuff we will... More on that later.
NXT Man in Pants. Back.
Mo, you've got a little something that's just a bit silly.
Yeah, I mean, I've been away most of the weekend, and all I've seen on my Facebook feed, on all of my feeds, is Shane McMahon is going to speak to Tony Khan. Tony Khan is well up for this. Next day, Tony Khan has no interest in this. Next day, Tony Khan is really up for this. Come on, guys, just some level of...
Just sign Shane O'Mac.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. Best punches in the game. Oh, yeah.
I would have popped like shit if I'd heard, "Here comes the money."
I'll tell you something, I will pop like shit if he comes flying out, because that's who Lance Archer's just launched from backstage.
Oh, that'd be wicked. I'll take both. Let's do this.
Shane likes jumping off big things.
You could go through that pane of glass, that more of that later.
Later.
That they did. That would have been great, because it would have been like the Kurt Angle poiking him through the plate glass thing from King.
The real window.
So
because they missed the fake one.
Moving on from news. Now, social media, I'm guessing, Mr. Strange, is pretty much the same as the news.
NXT Man in Pants.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And for the NJPW fan, there's been knife pervert comments.
Nice.
Switchblade's nickname that Chucky T gave him, and it stuck. You're just a knife pervert.
Oh, okay. Quite like that. So, time to hit those reviews, and we kick off, as always. He says, reaching for his notes. With Dynamite.
Hooray!
Dynamite opens with JR Schiavone and Excalibur on commentary. I'm going to warn you that I am Mr. Positive this week.
I think I'm Mr. Medium.
I am Mr. Positive. I've given an S.
I did watch this live to see Tony Khan's huge, amazing, Forbidden Door shattering announcement, so it wouldn't be spoiled by the AEW YouTube channel the next day. And boy, was I excited.
Even though he had already downplayed his Forbidden Door comment before it even aired.
Yeah, he apologised for it the next day. Right, JR Schiavone, Excalibur on commentary, and we open with a Pinnacle in-ring segment. Punk comes out, brings out Sting and Darby. Thoughts and scores?
A little bit of fun. Wardlow shaking his head as he's putting up the signs and stuff, the list of MJF's titles, the fucking Palanquin. Thanking everyone else except for Wardlow. Thing is obviously quite clever, little shitty Healy stuff. Yeah, then we got the call out to Wardlow going, he's the only reason you're any good, which is nice. This turn is needing to speed up a little bit for me now, but I was hoping MJF was going to summon the Briscoes, but it didn't happen. But I was happy. Wrestling. See where it goes. See, it was good. I'm excited for a little bit more of this bullshit. It's a laugh, especially with what comes later.
I really enjoyed this. I ended up giving this a high C. I liked all of all those just little niggly little things in the background. Those little snipes of Wardlow, very obvious, but some of them also quite they're just nicely laid in there about anything too horrific. Sean Spears is genuinely having the time of his fucking life.
I love him so much.
He's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Was it? I think I called him the champagne accountability. And I am in for that man. So fucking much.
There's two of us now, Morg. There's two of us.
I've been on the Sean Spears train since
Yeah, but I was my shameful love of him. Sorry,
But yes.
I just worry for those nipples. Every time. I can't help it. Like, God, I hope he's got a nice, soft velour on the inside of his jacket. Otherwise, man.
Just got a lot of nipple hair, mate. A lot of nipple hair.
Right. So it's getting a C, but I gave it a B. This may be my first case of it suffering from the CM Punk
bonus point.
My CM Punk bonus point. I really enjoyed this. The putting over Wardlow, all the clever stuff in the background. I think Punk is becoming the master. He said he wanted to go there to put over the new talent, the young talent. And I tell you what, there's no bitter I hate wrestling anymore with Punk, is there? He looks like he's having the time of his life. He looks like he's genuinely... And this is the feud I think he needed. I think he needed a good, fun, over-the-top feud.
Do you think, in a way, he feels like he might be feuding with an old version of himself? Because some of that, the whole gobshite nature, obviously it's not quite the same. He was never really the massively, cowardly heel. But just the whole being able to speak some shit with someone that can really give it back to him.
Yes. Yeah, I think one of the things has been well, I mean, I've mentioned this before on the podcast. You know, it's a case of we've all been saying MJF versus Punk for the promos alone, and the match was pretty fucking good in the end as well. So they did all right. Right. We then have a Sting, Darby, and Andrade backstage segment. Any thoughts?
I love this so much. I've given this 2 scores. I've given this a realistic score, and I've given this what I really, really want to give it because
of how wholesome it is.
It is
how much they love each other.
I messaged Matt separately. I think it was just me and you because I wasn't sure whether you had watched it or not, Morg. And I was just like, I just love the interaction between Andrade and Darby. It fills me full of fucking joy, which a lot of wrestling doesn't. I just see it, they corpse like fuck against each other. There's just genuine enjoyment, and I think genuine love for each other. I gave this a
stink. The fact he calls him stink is clearly what breaks Darby. Andrade stumbled on saying it this week, laughing to himself.
I gave this, like I said, 2 scores. I gave this, it's a C. It was just a generic, whatever. I also gave it a B because I'm just like, I love this. I fucking love this. More of this pointlessness because it doesn't really set a huge amount up. It doesn't do anything massively for the show. But for me, it fills me with love and joy.
Yeah, I'm going with Mo. It's still a C. Mo, that side.
Right, yeah.
We love wholesome Darby. We all love smiley Darby. When you see him, it's like, oh.
I'm actually looking forward to I'm hoping we get a Darby versus Andrade because I'm actually quite looking forward to that. I think that'll be good. I would get, and Andrade will get a chance to shine finally because your only other option. Go on,
Matt Hardy.
I was just going to say he'll have someone to hoik around as well and be able to do some of the lovely moves that you can actually pull off with a slightly smaller opponent. He'll actually look really impressive as well.
Yeah. I mean, well, the other option is you've either got to turn him face or turn Black heel to get that because those two have got massive amounts of chemistry together. But we've seen that. I've not seen him versus Darby. So we had our first match. Blade versus Wardlow with spears. Wardlow wins with the powerbomb. Thoughts and scores?
Blade. I was like, Blade's reasonably high tier. I suppose this match lasted longer than the usual ones we get. Ambush from the start was nice to see, and we actually got to see a bit of selling from Wardlow. He might need to work a bit on some of that, but, he gave it a good pop. Then Wardlow just wailed on him for a bit, and Spears annoyed him halfway through the break, but it didn't really lead to anything. Then Wardlow just kept beating on Blade. Break ends, but it didn't give Blade enough hit points back to save him. More of a match than we're accustomed to from Wardlow versus people. Bit of selling, which is good because his matches need some diversity. I can't say it was a full D squash. I gave it a low C. It was fine. Oh.
actually gave it a high C. I actually enjoyed this because of this, because he was actually being taken down. Like you said, it felt like an opponent for him, as opposed to I know he had Punk, but it wasn't the same thing. Yeah, it definitely wasn't set up like this. I like the fact that he got ambushed. There's a sensible approach. Yeah, there was some good basic psychology behind it all. It's the only way fucking Blade had a chance of winning, which he obviously didn't. Yeah, and belly to belly suplex death was quite fun, in my opinion. I gave it a high C, man. Fair. Because it wasn't a squash either.
Yeah, no.
So I went right down the middle of the both of you, and I just gave it a C.
Awesome.
But I thought it was a good match. It was really good. It was an actual match. It didn't feel like a squash. Blade got enough offense to feel like a match. Interesting thing was Wardlow facing Blade. This was a heel versus heel match.
Was a heel versus heel match. It's his first actual one that stands out to me now you mention it. Good observation.
Yeah, this was a heel versus heel, which basically, let's be honest, it wasn't. It's all start and set up. It's like any match. It's like Hook. Hook can't face baby faces anymore, no matter what. It's irrelevant. He just can't face baby faces. That's just, he can stay a heel, but he can't. Right. Moving on from there, we had the Penta promo. I'm going to just tell you straight away. I gave this an S. And Strange, if he thinks about it, will probably understand why I cracked and just gave it an S. What did you guys think?
There's a small problem. When I was watching this, there was a skip in the footage.
Oh.
So I'm not even aware that Penta, my probably favourite wrestler in AEW, did a promo. So you guys are gonna have to summarise.
All right, Strange. He pulled. It was really short. He pulled a mask out of the sand, and the mask was black. We are getting Penta dark, as far as I'm concerned, so my Lucha Underground heart said this is an S. You may now score it according to what you think, based on that information. Mo, what did you think, as someone who probably hasn't got a clue what any of this is?
No, Penta. I gave it a high C. It was a nice little... it was a cool vignette. But I didn't get any of the nuance. So I am pointless then for the nuance that was this vignette. But I still enjoyed it. It was alright, you know.
Right, I'm going to officially put this down as a high B, because I don't know, with +1 possible Lucha Penta. And if we get fucking Lucha Underground Penta, I will certainly triple in positivity towards every single episode.
I mean, I don't think we did. It wasn't quite, but me and the Raptor were both like, yeah, as far as we're concerned, that's Penta Dark. That's Penta Dark as far as I'm concerned. That's what I'm going to be watching. If the worst comes to the worst, I'll just go and watch old episodes of Lucha Underground over his matches if he doesn't. Right, moving on. Yeah, so moving on from there. Inner Circle team meeting. This is your first one of these, isn't it, Mo?
Yeah, this is.
Do you want to go first, Mo?
I can't give it as good a breakdown as you do.
All right, okay. I mean, it's not the longest. It's a 5-point breakdown, but yeah. I quite like the fact that Jericho was being Healy Jericho with "you robbed our fans." That made me laugh. So, Santana was on form in this one. I like that. Don't raise that mic. That brought me a proper little bit of joy. And yeah, we got a nice snapback from Jericho and the mini fall apart. Sammy went to his take off the coat again thing. Santana did a brilliant camera face a couple of times. I'm interested in where this is going. I gave it a high C. I don't think it was a spectacularly great moment, but it's got all the seeds of what I want to see, and the possibility of an LAX with Santana Ortiz, Kingston, and Diamante, which would be fucking sick. Probably rounded to a B out of interest and actual character work. It was nice to see Santana and Ortiz on the mic a bit more, which they're doing. What you go for, Mo?
I really enjoyed this. One of the major issues for me is the fact that Sammy can just take his cut off and throw it on the ground. And as a person that has watched a lot of Sons of Anarchy, so therefore I know everything about motorcycle clubs. And that's what they're wearing, a motorcycle cut. You shouldn't do that shit. He should be dead. Should be dead. Should throw that shit on the ground. Other than that, Santana was fucking brilliant. Really entertaining to watch. I felt like, I'm presuming because obviously the Eddie Kingston is the sort of the crowbar that's pulling them apart, if you will, or whatever. The looks to the camera, very Eddie Kingston. Some of the shit he was saying, very Eddie Kingston. So it felt like they were intentionally, like Santana was intentionally pulling some of that stuff out.
Oh, okay.
I genuinely really love this. I had put, is Jericho going full heel here? Like, what's he going with this? Yeah, I mean, I very, very much enjoyed it, and I really, really, really want to see where it goes. Really do. I'm looking forward to next week. This week.
I gave it a B. I also really enjoyed it. Like Sammy's mic work, loved Santana and Jericho. Jericho is definitely on the turn back to heel. Jericho likes to reinvent himself. I mean, that's a thing he does all the time. I think he's on the turn to heel, and it'd be interesting to see a babyface first LAX if they do go down that route. Because I'm used to them being heels first and then turning face as the crowd starts to love them. But I think you've got three people that the crowd already loves, and actually it'd be daft to have them suddenly form up in this group that you know is going to happen. And suddenly go, all right, well, now we're all friends again. We're going to be dickheads. Which, so...
Yeah, with you.
What level of dickhead?
that doesn't hurt my babyface loving heart. Right. Roppongi Vice promo, interrupted by the Bucks. Vice are jumped by Cole, and then Jay White debuts on AEW. Thoughts?
A lazy debut. I wrote down standard assault, hooray Jay White, meh otherwise. I like Jay White. I know Jay White. His feud with Naito was really good at NJPW. They've got great chemistry together. He's a great wrestler. It was just kind of there. And I don't mean to seem rude to Jay White or AEW. He's not a globally known name to the point where, like, yeah, I'll go, oh, fuck, Jay White, he's been in NJPW and was the IGWP champion and has been on Ring of Honor a lot recently. I think they could have done something a little bit more outstanding with him. I mean, I know he was scratched in the last 10 minutes before the show because Tony Khan realised he'd over-egged his show, so he just sort of had to go, Jay White, here's some money, come to my show. I'm excited to see some matches, but I can't say it was a great segment.
What did you give it?
Didn't.
That is also fair.
Yeah, I wrote meh.
So I'm probably going to get a lot of hate from this. I gave this a D. But purely because it was, this is the Forbidden Door, and I knew it was going to underplay. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm a Dub Z guy, you know, originally and all that. So Jay White, sure. I think I've heard the name before. So there was no...
They've brought in NJPW people in the past. A bunch of them fought Mox. They were like, oh, here comes Satoshi. And there was a 3-minute expo of Mox going, oh, I'm going to fight Satoshi. He's really hard. Here's some footage of him doing this. He holds this legacy. And so even people who didn't know who he was could go, oh, he's a big Japanese man. Yeah, he likes bread. They didn't do that with Jay White. He's just there. And I'm like, to anybody else, he must just be the same wrestling man with long hair and beards.
I genuinely looked and just went, cool. I could see him being in Red Dragon or anything with Adam Cole in. Yeah, yeah, sure.
He's a champion. He's the leader of Bullet Club.
I'm gonna get murdered. Oh,
it's all set up for Kenny coming back. All of this is set up for Kenny coming back. I gave it a C. Would have liked to have given it more. I would have liked to have given a debut with a big name that I recognise more of something that's leading up, but it was just wrestling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, a match.
Yeah, following on from that, we had the Face of the Revolution qualifying match, which I ruined for myself by skipping past the bloody adverts. Fortunately, the Raptor was not looking at the screen the second that I skipped a bit too far. Isaiah Cassidy versus a mystery opponent, and that mystery opponent is Keith Lee. Thoughts and scores?
Right. I don't have a lot to say on this match. It wasn't a long match, not a great match, but the match was good. Good. He's got a really good theme tune. I like that. That's an important thing for me as he comes out. And the little screenshot of him doing his sign with a shirt with his little silhouette on, with a sign behind him with the silhouette on, made me laugh. He threw Isaiah Cassidy so far. That was wonderful. That made me laugh. I've missed the old days of talking about the man throwing competitions. We've not had a real entrant for a while. His over the ropes crossbody made me laugh. It's now my second favourite crossbody. Mo, you haven't seen Butcher do a crossbody yet, but seeing as he's like 400 pounds and 6'8", it's like throwing a table at somebody. And that had similar energy, so I liked it. I was mad that this was the big phenomenal entrant thing, and he is just another NXT man in pants, if I'm honest. He's a very different looking and moving and fighting NXT man in pants, so that's good. And I can't help, I'm a bit double mad because he's very likable. He's got a charisma to him, and I didn't like that because, as I said, I'm a little bit sick of ignoring the talent that we beat NXT with, bring in the talent from NXT. Something about that seems like a bad business plan to me. But anyway, and fucking JR loved him. I've never heard JR laugh and be so happy about a wrestler in the ring anyway. Bigger slam for the finish. It was a good match. Gave it a C because the man means nothing to me. It was a good wrestling match. It had story. I enjoyed it. It was a nice show. But the additional pop of who he is means nothing to me, Vienna. So
it's kind of like the opposite of me and you for the Jay White segment, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
WWE guy, you say he's from NXT, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, 100% was, and he was phenomenal in there, and they fucked him up on the main roster. But everyone still loved him. I always remember, just before Corona hit, 2020 Royal Rumble, he entered the 2020 Royal Rumble, and I'd actually gone, Brock sold for him. The Brock was like, holy fuck, who's this big guy? I was in a pub. I'd actually gone to London and met up with a few mates and watched it in a pub. And the fucking place just the roof just blew up. There was a lot of cool stuff because that was when Edge come out and stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's a big fucking thing.
Mr. Spear.
Monsieur Spear. Canadian, isn't he? The pop for Keith Lee then was bigger than it was for Edge, which says fucking everything in my opinion. Anyway, going off on a tangent, sorry. I love this. I'm always going to love it. That throw is phenomenal. He needs to keep doing that to larger and larger and larger people. I genuinely thought he might have broken Isaiah Cassidy's leg. He got so close to the fucking corner on the other side of the ring. I watched and I was like, he's going to hit the ropes and break something. Oh, okay, he's all right. Everything that happened. It was slow, but it was good slow because it was everything was methodical as opposed to just plod. I really liked when Private Party attacked afterwards, and he got to do
catch on that tope into the power bomb was a
oh my god,
it was beautiful.
If anything went wrong, if he wasn't as competent as he was, that would be a dead dude right now, or at least a really fucking messed up guy. And just the follow up with the double power bomb, it was beautiful, so well done. Private Party were phenomenal. I know it wasn't a Private Party match, but Private Party were phenomenal. I love the fact that Matt Hardy walked out during that match.
It's got to be broken for when his brother shows up in 2 weeks.
Well, he's got to be broke because he's going to lose all of his money, isn't he, to Andrade? It's going to be broke Hardy. Thank you. I just come up with that. You're welcome. I'm out. I gave this a low B, but again, this is purely from a self-love pop for Keith Lee, the most charismatic man that you're about to see.
Right. So I'm going to open this. I'm afraid we're going to continue Mo's tangent here for a moment. Sorry, right. Strange, you'll have to indulge us. So I know you talk about NXT, guys. Now remember one of your old rants. Your very own old rants, which was, these are not ex-WWE guys. Keith Lee made his name before he hit NXT.
They weren't back then, because there were 3 of them.
But most importantly, and has been one of my statements for a very long time, and I may have stolen this, Madame Blompier, but it's Vince. How did you fuck up Keith Lee? Here is a man who has the physical charisma of Darby Allin, the vocal charisma of The Rock, the moves looks like fucking Brock Lesnar, and moves like Sammy Guevara. I'm okay. I've gone slightly extreme on most of those, but this guy has got everything you could do, and I've worked it out. Vince can't book high flying big guys. He doesn't. He doesn't understand them. Braun Strowman. Oh, we'll have him. We'll have Braun Strowman because he's a big guy. But Samoa Joe, well, we'll give him a shot. We'll never actually give him the title. Samoa fucking Joe. And the reason for stealing these guys, to be fair, Strange, is because NXT. It wasn't NXT. He wasn't on NXT when they were at the Wars. He'd been moved to the main roster, and they were doing fuck all with probably a guy that should have the guy who should have defeated Roman Reigns. Yeah, he's your guy to defeat Roman Reigns.
Take all your words for it.
But I still only gave the segment to C, I'm afraid, because I found the match to be a bit squashy. I would have liked to have seen Keith Lee sell a bit more, and it felt a bit. It was just above what I would consider. But if the match had been a little bit more back and forth, and I know you can't do that on Keith Lee's debut because you've got to make him look strong. So I understand the reasons, but I judged the match on a match, and that took the edge off my massive pop for when I ruined it for myself.
That makes you fit more like me, because that's sort of my perspective. Oh, good match from a nice looking guy. Yeah, he seems likeable.
Yeah,
you've toned it down from my opinion.
I feel that Keith Lee is going to be on your list of people that you do like very quickly, Strange.
See, I've only got so much time to like people.
Oh, I'll send you that gif of him launching Adam Cole into an audience.
Oh, brilliant! Fuck Adam Cole. More on that later.
Right.
Just you're 100% right. I think about the whole match. I think the thing is they put Isaiah Cassidy in there because he can fucking sell like a motherfucker, and he can get thrown around. And I don't think it's done anything negative for him. I really don't think it has.
No. And I don't think
if they just put a jobber in, or whatever you want to call them, I think people would have just gone, yeah, okay, right. He's just
at the end of this. I didn't feel that Private Party as a tag team had been lessened by being beaten by Keith Lee because this guy had come out and just been a monster. And you know the most important thing, what we've actually finally got in AEW that I have wanted for so long, just doing it as they're about to turn Wardlow into it. We're about to get a monster face, and now we're going to have fucking hundreds of them.
God fucking damn it! Bring me my tweeters. Where's La Sombra?
We then had Britt, Thunder and Mercedes promo. Any thoughts?
Yeah, she had Mercedes. There's going to be a no DQ match. That's nice. The last no DQ match for Rosa was fucking sick. Mercedes is the OG badass, apparently. I didn't know that. I didn't realise she'd been in wrestling that long. They're normal cinematic energy. It's a C. Yeah, this is going to happen. Cool.
Yeah, it's alright. I think she's been in like 20 years or something ridiculous. She's been wrestling a long freaking time. But, I mean, I've not really seen.
Oh, you have?
She was in like episode 2 of AEW. Then she went to be in the paper face people.
Retribution.
And that worked out really well for her.
Yeah, and everyone involved
has come out better for that. Hashtag free Ali.
You're also muted again. Morg.
Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, don't click a button.
Also, on the same side of that, Dominik Dijakovic, that's the other guy that AEW need to steal. Just so him and Keith Lee can continue their feuding and varying things.
We've got enough wrestlers! There's like 400 of the fucking things!
But AEW does it correctly because they put people on a rotation.
As long as they keep them on a rotation. I've seen Adam Cole every fucking
He will fuck off after he's been beaten by Hangman.
He better.
Or Kenny comes back and eats him. Right.
Hope so.
Moving on. Sammy Guevara Q card promo. Any thoughts? I thought it was good.
Didn't read.
He can't spell revolution. They misspelled that.
Yeah. Yeah, wrapped in notes. And he then spelt it correctly afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
Just being picky.
We then had...
Let's do it, Morg. Come on.
FTR and Tully versus CM Punk and a mystery partner. And I was so hoping it would be Wardlow.
I've got that at the top.
It should have been Wardlow. But I can understand why it wasn't. And the mystery partner was Mox.
Because we can't have a week off him anymore.
Well, I was just saying, you know that heel turn we were getting with Mox? And I don't mean this in any disrespect. I mean, fair play to Mox, facing and getting over your demons, but you've just done all that. There's no way you're turning heel for at least another 6 months now. I don't want you to turn heel now, and I was looking forward to a heel Mox for a bit. What did you guys think of the match, and what score did you give it?
After all the build-up to the big forbidden door, I was expecting a more exciting partner. Or Wardlow, which would have been the Giga thing. I turned to Ruth and went, Wardlow. Phil was tweeting at the time he was looking for his thing. He tweeted Danhausen asking if he was about. And he tweeted Samoa Joe asking if he was in the country. And that made me laugh. Right, anyway, good match. I enjoyed this. Bald and Phil have a strong wrestling start. Then a solid Hair versus Phil, but Phil's beaten them both. Fox gets in and continues the beatdown on Bald. All solid, but the faces were just solidly winning for a good while. Some shenanigans give FTR control so they can beat on Punk for a bit. And Mox gets the hot tag so he can level them both again. Arguably, I thought the actual, trained professional tag team would do a bit better. But here we are. Gets most even back and forth fight breaks outside in picture-in-picture. But picture-in-picture wasn't slow and wasn't just all heel heat, which was wonderful because I complain about that all the fucking time. They put Mox through the bell table again. It's time for that bell table man to get himself a nice Victorian desk or something, some strong mahogany. And after the end of the break, heels were still in control, and some solid healing actually stopped the hot tag. I was like, oh! There was a struggle into a Doomsday device. I can't be mad about that. It's my favourite tag team finisher. And the struggle fight continues. There are a couple of clumsy spots, but they weren't ruined. It still had fighty energy. Tully hit Punk with a jacket, and I laughed. And he got go to sleep, and I was like, I love Tully. He's wonderful. And simultaneous finishes for the crowd, which they loved. It was a good match. Story did start with the faces just wailing, which is kind of the wrong way to get your face heat, if I'm honest. But yeah, I liked it. Solid. Entertaining. Everyone could wrestle. That was nice.
I enjoyed it. There was a couple of moments that just was just a little off. Like you said, fully expecting FTR to be made out to be what they fucking are, because they're solid as fuck as wrestlers, and it felt like some of that was taken off the back burner a little bit. I really enjoyed Mox walking in, giving the finger to the boys, but then giving Tully a nice little bow. Yeah. I really popped for that. I was fully expecting you to mention his Akira hoodie. I'd even written down, I bet Matt mentions that. So very surprised he didn't. Punk as well warmed up like Daniel Bryan when he was waiting for Mox to come out. And I was like, it's nice. Let's fucking do this. Let's do fucking Mox, Bryan, and Punk as a fucking a nice team with some new guys. Oh my god, I would be so.
More on that later.
Yes. Doomsday Device, pop like fuck. Yes, fucking Doomsday Device. Although, wasn't the best Doomsday Device. Baldy nearly died. That was.
Doesn't that just make it a better Doomsday Device?
More accurate Doomsday Device.
Yeah. Oh, I see you're going old school with this Doomsday Device.
How's your
neck?
Look who the two guys doing it were. It was there was going to be a lot of old school in that.
Yeah. Mox did a beautiful T-bone suplex as well. That made me go, I want to see more of that from him. But I gave this a high C.
He was on my sheet next to B, but I got kind of excited when I talked about it.
Fair.
I'm with you.
I genuinely enjoyed this. I was more on I would have liked to have seen FTR do more.
I'm with you 100%.
During it. That was what sort of took some of that edge off.
You see, it's got story in and story out, so that's to round it up for B for my incredibly accurate scale. 5 stars.
So I gave it a B. I just really enjoyed this match. I have got no notes. I have got a score.
Matches.
Yeah, I have got a score. Yeah, I have got a score. Loved having Mox. I thought Mox was a brilliant... If you couldn't get Samoa Joe, which would have been... That was the only one I could think that would hit the forbidden door, and he's the only person you could believe would be allied with Punk. Unless Punk was about to turn heel and they had actually got Triple H. You know.
Whoa.
I mean, that would have been the fucking shocker of the century. But yeah, loved Mox. I thought Mox was a great choice. Mox just wants to have a fight. He's got old school beef with FDR from something, I'm sure. So, you know, it didn't matter.
Why not?
And it fuels more of the Daniel Bryan, because I think when you put him with Punk, you certainly in my mind, I think of Punk and Bryan and the promos of them coming up together. So yeah, I just really enjoyed this match and don't really have anything to add. Following on from that, we had
Justine, what's next?
We had AQA versus Jade Cargill with Mark Sterling for the TBS Championship, actually being defended on TBS for once. Woo! What scores did you give it? I think I can guess what Mo's score is just by the look on his face. He's got the stare. Do you want to go first, Mo?
Do I need to say anything? Oh my god, this was utter dog shit. I just can't. The only thing that I can genuinely remember that I wasn't mad about was the fact that Smart Mark was walking around handing business cards out to the crowd. I want to know what those business cards say. I'm in it for Smart Mark. I gave it a fucking D. Fuck. Just fuck. I can't. I get... She looks like they gave her quite an interesting...
Mo, how dare you? Jade tried to do some selling in this match.
There was some effort there. Oh, actually, no, there was one thing I enjoyed that she did, actually, right at the beginning.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, no. No, the wrestling. She took her jacket off, and Mark normally takes it off of her, but he was too busy saying something to the ref, so she just turned around and just threw her jacket in his face. And I went, oh, nice. I kind of enjoyed that, and then it all went dramatically downhill.
It's nice to know Booker T's student works for the British examining body for schools, though. The AQA.
I didn't even pick that bit up.
Neither did I, but my partner did, because she actually went to uni.
Right.
I don't think I need to go through my notes of the match. I mean, there was I've got some things in there. There's a good shooting star. That's about miscommunication. One arm lift slam was really good. It's got some strength on her, and she did a brutal ragdoll slam at the end. Not sure she's experienced enough to carry an open challenge match. I don't think I can add anything to your opinions more.
My opinion that just says fuck a lot.
So, I've got a C down here. I think it must have been a match. I think it must have felt like it was a match. There must have been more back and forth
Tell you what,
than the normal Jade squash. Yeah, but it was nothing.
I'll give it a high D. I think.
Yeah, all right then.
I don't think we've ever ranked a D match with a high or low before, so this is a first for me in 2 years. Near enough.
Right, moving on. Bucks and Cole promo.
Don't care. He brought in Jay, Bullet Club for life, whatever. Adam Cole. Next.
I would like to say this is the best Adam Cole promo we've ever seen. No. It was just what it was, yeah.
How did he bring in Jay White? Jay White outranks him. Come on, Jay.
Maybe he paid for his ticket across. Maybe that. So he feels like he brought him in.
Right, following on from that, Serena Deeb versus Katie Arquette in a 5-minute challenge. Deeb wins. Now, I've got 2 scores for this. What scores did you give it?
I really like the idea of this. I like the idea of the 5-minute rookie challenge. I I think I'd have preferred a more named character, like a low-ranking rookie in AEW, somebody we actually recognise, like Julia Hart, for example. She's getting a bit of, maybe not Julia, she's getting more of a push, but there's a few of them out there who could have taken this beating. I don't even know the name of the rando in the ring.
Katie Arquette, obviously David Arquette's daughter.
I like the idea. I like what's building up from it. I can see you can do some cool stuff with it. I like Deeb in the ring. I like C for a moment, but the match was just a stomping on a literal nobody. So the match was a D, but I'm willing to round up on C for story and idea and build as a segment.
See, that is exactly what I had. I'm glad I wasn't the only one coming into this. So I had D because she just fucking destroyed some poor lass. Do you know what I mean? Who actually had a really good look to her as well. Like I could see the look of that lass. I don't mean like sexy look or anything like that. But
no, obviously.
She generally looks like she could be quite interesting. Obviously, we have no idea what skill level she is because she just got murdered. But yeah, the 5-minute professor rookie challenge thing, I'm interested to see where they go, as long as it isn't just this is our bringing people up from dark, like, because that's a little bit of my worry. There's plenty of other there's plenty of other women in the roster that could do with something other than just waiting for the next title thing, you know.
Well, to be fair, something me and the Raptor were discussing is the fact we've actually finally got a bunch of women's storylines that are not based around the title. Which, yeah, before you started watching, Mo, was more on Jamie Hayter later, because I have statements about that. But yeah, I like this. I gave it D as a match and C as a segment, the same as both of you. Yeah, I think we were all on the same boat. It was
universal.
Yeah, and I think we can count it as a segment, and I think we'll just have to deal with it until we get that breakout. Until somebody, I'm just going to say, Maki Ito turns up, and you know, someone with a slight bit of a name or a name turns up, or someone who's about to get their big push. I don't think we'll see any of their ones from Dark until they've got one ready to move on to the main roster. This would have been good for a Red Velvet back when she was mainly on Dark, or an Anna Jay, or a Layla Hirsch.
Weirdly for me, this felt like, and you're not going to give a flying fuck, Strange. This felt like for me when John Cena had the the United States title, and he kept doing the open challenge, so you'd get lots of NXT guys come up. It's not a title, whatever, but this was about the old school giving back to the new school. And then when Kevin Owens come up and actually beat it, like, it was a absolute fucking moment. Like, genuinely was awesome, and it all come from him going, I'm going to do some random matches with some people I wouldn't normally face. And he was doing moves that you wouldn't normally do. He was like taking power bombs and shit like that. Like, what?
This was
John fucking Cena.
This was the John Cena that is loved by actual wrestling fans, even though deep in their heart they go, we used to really hate you because you couldn't wrestle, but you proved you could the first night that we chanted you can't wrestle at you when you faced RVD in ECW. It is quite funny because that was the first time he'd had the you can't wrestle chant, and he then proceeded to have one of my all-time favourite matches.
Was that One Night Stand?
Yeah, One Night Stand.
So good.
And I loved the open challenge part. To me, is more, I feel, what Sammy's doing.
That's what Cody did originally.
And Cody did as well, and I complimented it because it's a thing I like when you get a name and you have an open challenge and you bring people up. Obviously, AEW will bring people up from the indies. WZ had their own mini indie. How's that going for you, 2.0? Right, moving on. Jurassic Express and Gun Club promo package. It was one of their promo packages. It was good. Does anyone have anything else to add?
He said I got 2 words for you, and that made me pop a little bit. And so
yeah, me. Then we had our main event. Lance Archer versus Hangman. Texas Death Match for the AEW World Championship. Hangman wins with a modified buckshot lariat, which was fucking amazing. And then Adam Cole comes out. What did you guys think of the match, and what scores did you give it?
I already know what you've given it, Morg, because you said you'd given an S at the start of the show.
No, I've given that. That was for the Penta one.
Oh, okay.
That was for the Penta segment.
Cheers! I forgot, because I didn't see it on the TV show. Right, what a match, eh? This was pretty good. I had a good time. Started backstage. God, I love backstage. It reminds me of playing SmackDown computer games on my PS1 and always taking the fight at the back so you could hit people with bins and shit. Love it. Lance has already gone through a window and is bleeding at like the start of the fight. I was like, holy shit. It was a bit weird once again, starting with the face beating the Juggernaut. I'd have probably gone the other way, but it wasn't a problem. This match goes on for fucking ever. I loved Lance getting the heel control so Lambert could learn how long it takes to undo ring. Is that either of you two ever put on or undo or done ring room? It takes for fucking ever. And I watched him go up going, he doesn't know how long that's going to take.
I watched a few things being set up at a local show and going, oh, that looks like it's shit work.
Yes, mate. I really like taking the top. Obviously, it was a huge Chekhov's gun leading to a later thing, but we'll get to that when it gets there. Really clever work. Lance gets some heel heat and sets up tables for the entirety of picture-in-picture so Hangman can blade off camera. Back from break so we can get a rope struggle, and Jake does a short arm clothesline that made me smile because I always love it when Jake does something. He's so happy to be doing his little stuff. And I quite liked him being stopped doing the DDT by Lance. I thought that was a nice little bit of story of like, what are you doing? This is my beatdown. And that gives Hangman his next comeback. Loads of brutality with weapons. Holy shit, we could go on forever about things they hit each other with. But we have to mention the blackout onto the steps. Jesus Christ. He bounced off him at the ring post as well. I was like, goodbye, Hangman. And then he didn't get back up. Lance rolls him back into the ring, so it's not like he's popped up from that move. And the grabbing of the barbed wire was actually really well done. I didn't notice that he'd pulled it off when he was pulled up. And that gave him a few punches. Obviously, then we get the buckshot off the ref through the setup tables, which was phenomenally done. Actually, really organic. I had a great time. A little bit bad for Lance, just because he's come back from his injury. He's meant to be the Juggernaut. I don't think this made him feel weak, but compromised his Juggernaut. I'd prefer him not to be in title scene, so he can just be a person who beats people up. It was a phenomenal finish. Great match throughout. Now we're at high B, it's arguably an A. We've got story in, story out. Hangman gets to feel like a champion. A bunch of good spots. I gave it a high B on paper.
I'll upgrade mine if you upgrade yours.
I will upgrade mine if you upgrade yours. I gave it a high B, and as you're talking, I was going, I know, I actually really did enjoy it.
Yes, and I've just done exactly, and I have done exactly the same thing.
This happens alone. I'll talk myself into a higher rank as I'm going.
Mo, what did you think?
Apparently I loved this match more than I realised. No, like genuinely, I love the fact that Hangman did an intelligent thing. He attacked Lance straight out the bat. You know, tried to take that advantage from the fucking behemoth. Weird glass setup with the camera directly behind it and stuff. It's like, I kind of liked it because it felt intentionally weird, if that makes sense. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of claret in this as well. Obviously not as much as Bryan Danielson, and Hangman. But they had done a number on themselves, I should say. I really liked the setup of the table. Yeah, it took forever. That was a bit silly how long it took. But I loved the camera work after it. They never went back to it. Once it was set up and that little spot was missed, in inverted commas, they never showed those tables, or that I remember.
We need Muir here. I believe it's Chekhov's gun, isn't it?
Well, that's exactly what Strange said.
Yeah, it is Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, 100%. Loved it. I like the little things like Hangman absolutely railed on Lance with a kendo stick, and then the kendo stick went fucking miles away, like it just hit a concrete wall, which says a lot about Lance, man. Like little things like that, I absolutely loved. Oh god, the blackout on the steps. For a bit, you saw Hangman looking at his wrist, and I went, I think he's broke his wrist. I genuinely thought he had, because the way he bounced, hit the ring, and then landed, and his arm went under the ring, and I'm like, I bet there's all sorts of random shit underneath the ring. He's probably actually fucked himself.
Few chairs.
Just, ow! But yeah, I love this match. I'm just waffling stuff I really enjoyed now. We're giving it a B, apparently. Sorry, no, we're not. No, we're giving him an A. An A, sorry.
Yeah, this was fucking awesome. I really, really enjoyed this match. And this is the Lance I like. Destructive Lance that has a match and shows you how destructive he is. I don't think he was hurt by this at all.
No.
I think he...
I felt bad for him. I don't think he was hurt.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
But that's the important thing, because I was worried, you bring him back, and he's the one that they keep, and they always use Lance as the big monster for the babyface to have their first. Mox did it, all these people have gone through it, and I was a little worried. See, because Lance is the wrestler, Mo, just so you know, he's the one that I turned, because I didn't like him at first. I thought it was just squash match after squash match after squash match, and there was nothing. And then I really suddenly just warmed to him massively one day. And it was the day after he had a full match. And I got to see how good he is. So yeah, I also am just now waffling on my love for Lance Archer. And yeah, this was just perfect. And Adam Cole comes out to set himself up for his first official loss on Dynamite.
If he loses, I'm going to wait and see. If he
That a
wins,
fucking ad.
I am gonna be unreasonably angry. I'm gonna say horrible things about that man if he wins. Tony Khan, Nick, I know you all listen. Watch now, apparently. Don't.
Not on fucking Twitter, they're not though.
I genuinely. So my initial when he came out was. I've written down here, Strange is going to love this, because that's just whenever I see his shit. I really liked how he picked up the belt and gave it to him and gave him a good old slap on the chest and fucked off. So he didn't, whilst he claims the limelight at the end of it, he didn't take it. Does that make sense? Because I think if it had ended with him just doing whatever the fuck he wanted to him, I think that would have actually hurt Hangman, because it would have eaten that glory over the monster. He needs to have that glory, and if this isn't the win to take that away. If it was just against some other dude who's title shot and all that, it would have really hurt Hangman. But glad it didn't. I am genuinely worried they're going to give Adam Page the win, and I like Adam Page. I'm
Adam
not
Cole.
in the hate. Sorry,
that's the other one, the one we want.
The other one,
the one we want to win is Adam.
I was about to say the one with hair. No, that's both of them. Adam, I'm genuinely worried about that. Genuinely worried because he doesn't need it.
I think it's good that you're worried. I really don't, unless he happens stages down the line. I don't think that belt's coming off Hangman for at least 8 months to a year, unless he absolutely bombs as a champion, which he's not.
This match for me, as a new guy watching, obviously I watched pretty much just before Christmas was my first one, but after the Brian Danielson,
it'll take a while. Trust me.
I was worried about it, and I know we've talked about it before. You guys said, he's all about that the chase rather than the success, and I was worried it was going to be quite boring. However, I think they made him look now like a worthy champion, an intelligent champion. This match for me really did succeed in sort of giving him that pedestal.
I think the only real problem is just the build-up storyline wasn't as interesting, even though it was all right. And I think that's where we were starting to sour on it, because you think about it, he had those matches against Brian Danielson. See, you do get it eventually. He had those.
Call him Brian.
They were both fucking brilliant. Do you know what? I keep calling him Brian and then going to correct myself.
Brian.
The problem is I've always called him D-Bry.
But he's always been Brian. Daniel Bryan, yeah. Anyway, overall score, Strange. What have we got?
It's a bit of a roller coaster with the overall maths. Here we are. It's a high C. Feels a little bit low for the overall rank.
I think that's a B.
I think
3 B's and an A. 3 B's and an A. And an S.
4 B's and a D.
Oh, fuck the D.
We got -1 Baby Noodle Man. It's a B. Felt like a B. We had a really good finish. We had a lot of good story in there. I'm sure if you like NXT Man in Pants more than I do, even though he seems lovely, it's probably a fucking A, and you rolled around jizzing as fucking Adam Cole came out.
You didn't like Miro at the start.
Didn't like Miro. I feel more connected to
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee than I do Miro when he first arrived.
There you go. You are going to want to impregnate him like the rest of us, surely. All right?
Yeah.
I'm a butcher kind of man.
He is, yeah.
I'm a big hairy dude, man. You Jeff Bridges, you Kurt Russell.
So here's one for you, Strange. Next time he's on, because this is one of the Raptors, and the list of wrestlers who look like people we know but don't. Keith Lee and Well-Spoken Dave. Come back to us on that one.
I mean, there's quite an obvious difference.
Yes, I was avoiding the bit that Raptor always says in the description, forgetting the obvious. Facially.
I mean,
facially.
I 100% say the charisma and the facial expressions. I think I actually see that, actually.
Yeah, that's where she's got it. And my new one on wrestlers I think look like someone but don't. Is our very own, he's not been on the show for a while, Zach and Danhausen. There is some of the moment, there's a picture of Danhausen.
We're going to have to bring pictures. We have people here who don't know. Hello, viewers. You don't know a lot of these people. But for next time, Morg is going to prepare being able to show you photos.
I am not going to put pictures of our friends up on the screen without their permission.
I will.
Mo is going to prepare.
Right, let's move on. We've done Dynamite. Let's get on to Rampage.
Okay.
And this is all your problem.
It's my Furious Friday Fight Findings. Always called it that, the Rampage review. Excalibur, Taz, Starks, and Jericho on comms. The best commentary team. They have a great time throughout everything, especially Taz and Excalibur. Open with Roppongi Vice versus the Bucks. Bucks win with the BTE trigger. Nice fun start with Roppongi taking the lead. Rick Knox can do a count out like a real person, which is nice. He actually counts. Danhausen was under the ring. Didn't add much, but this is a Bucks match, which is just a series of rotating spots. All fine. Like the stuff in the ring was fine. Kind of the opposite of telling a story in the ring. That delivered a Doomsday device which was... Did a Doomsday... Not Matt. Roppongi Vice did a Doomsday... Somebody did a Doomsday device, which was great, but then they countered it by doing the Meltzer driver, which is a terrible, terrible looking finisher, and I hate it. And the Bucks win, continuing Trent's thing of coming back and just losing. I remember when the Best Friends actually, got victories outside of Orange Cassidy. Sorry, go on.
No, go on. No,
it was fine. It was okay. I gave it a C. It was misc entertainment that didn't gel with me. I didn't care for the finish, but a lot of people like these kinds of matches. And then Jay White came out and did his finisher, which now I look at it, the Switchblade is in fact just a better Crossroads. Because he does it backwards and the guy can actually flip through the air. Yes, it was fine wrestling. Go on. Win me back over, boys.
Oh God, no. No, I genuinely enjoyed the match. I did really, really enjoy it. The thing that soured me was the thing that I've said multiple times, and you guys have gone, no, it's going to be fun. It's just the Best Friends at all. Just fucking losing. Like, I know you say you guys are going to come, they'll come back, this is what they do.
I was hoping.
They don't deserve this. Because the Bucks didn't deserve to win this.
Trent's a really good wrestler. Look at him. He doesn't
Both of them
come
are.
in. Yeah.
Even Rocky Romero was wicked.
He's newer. Leaning on Trent because he's actually with the company. They're both phenomenal. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I thought they gave Rocky Romero a couple of really nice little things. You know, had a bit of a psych up, like when they're elbowing each other in the face and stuff. I think they showed a chunk of personality for him. There was some really, really nice spots. I get what you mean about the Meltzer driver. That was it's just strange. It's not terrible. I don't think it's terrible.
What does it add to the move?
Splits, or nearly splits. Yeah.
I've bitched about assisted pile drivers before. Don't worry, Morg's heard it all from me.
Some can be great. Going back to ECW, but that was a long time ago. I gave this a high C initially until the end, and I put it down to a low C because I'm just sick and tired of watching them lose, and I just feel like they're being burnt for no reason. There was no reason for the Bucks to win this. They didn't need it. It would have been better for them to have lost and Jay White come out and fuck up Roppongi Vice and go,
Yep.
This is why I've been brought in. This is the reason. 2 guys smashed them in. That would have made far more impact for me than what actually happened, personally. But yeah, sorry.
Morg, you're our resident biggest Bucks fan.
B. It's a Young Bucks clusterfuck. It's a Young Bucks clusterfuck. They always get a B. I fucking love Young Bucks clusterfucks. No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was just a good match with 2 good tag teams, which was just thoroughly enjoyable. I didn't care about who won, but I really wasn't bothered at all because this was a showcase. This was, when you're on SmackDown versus whatever, or the old SmackDown game, and you just do an exhibition match. That's what this was to me.
With you,
I know it's part of the story, but it got to the point where it had been so long ago that it just felt like an exhibition match, a chance to see the Bucks versus Roppongi Vice in AEW. Yeah,
if you want them to bring Okada in, because that's all this is about, is get Okada to AEW. Give Trent some wins. Trent and Chucky are his best friends. They went on a cruise. It was Okada driving his boat. Chucky T, Trent, and Rocky Romero. It's called the Okada Cruise. He has a little captain hat.
Oh, maybe. This could be leading.
Come in as El Capitan.
No, you see, this could be leading. You're saying give them wins, giving them losses could be leading to that moment. Right.
Cool. We've had him for 6 months.
Can we now have Okada, please? No.
Would you have to turn them heel? With Okada, I know that's not the Okada way, but if they've lost that many times that they have to go, we're finally going to have to break some rules and bring this dude in to actually make us anything. That seems like a heel shitty thing to do.
Well, everybody else is doing it, so why the fuck not?
To be fair, no, it's the baby faces keep being outnumbered. That's the thing. So they've always.
Except they weren't in this match.
So they bring, but you know what I mean. They always bring in somebody else.
In fact, they had more people because Danhausen come out and cursed them.
Right, okay, let's get on with this, or we'll keep bitching about this match forever. And we got a Danielson promo. He wants to get married to Mox and adopt 3 kids, and I'm down for it. It's going to be wonderful. Opening the Cobra Kai dojo. Seidel interrupted with Lee Moriarty, and Moriarty challenged Danielson. So we'll get a little exhibition match. Hopefully join Cobra Kai. Solid wrestling stuff. I'm more interested for where it's going than what was shown there, and at least they're keeping Seidel relevant because he's good in the ring. It's just his promo game's a bit soft. The Duad?
Nice. You missed the Hobbs thing with Starks, just doing the challenge for the next week as well. But yeah,
I missed that bit.
Yeah, it was just it was what it was. It's just because Hobbs looks awesome in that giant coat.
Oh, doesn't he? He was like Hobbs is more my kind of man than Keith Lee. Watch out. The longer we podcast, the gayer I get, apparently. Britt versus Robin Renegade. Britt wins with the curb stomp. No music for Robin. F. There's one next, isn't it? Yeah. No Jamie Hayter at the ring. Negative dimes for this match. Actually, a solid grappling technical start, and Robin's pretty good. Then Britt just starts beating her. Robin gets a nice little comeback post-break. Then Britt annihilates her for the victory. Pretty solid, Desu. See? Good match. And Britt lockjaws Robin. Post-match, she bleeds instantly, so she's probably got caps in those things now. So Rosa could run out, so Hayter could save her, so Martinez could have a fallout with Hayter for the split that's still growing. For Girl Wardlow to turn on her master.
I'm glad you said it. Go on, Mo, go first, then I'll...
I enjoyed this match. I also gave it a C. I liked Robin Renegade talking shit throughout a chunk of the match. Gave her a lot of personality rather than just someone that's there.
Much better showing than AQA.
Oh god, yeah. This is how a lot of these entrants should go. There was some attitude there. There was some oomph, some really nice moves as well. That curb stomp, it's still fucking nasty looking. It's brilliant. I love that curb stomp. Seth Rollins, fuck off.
Yeah.
That's a curb stomp.
Seth's was good.
Yeah, it was.
You'll see it again when Tyler Black shows up in the AEW.
Yeah, but the principle is he ain't going to be using the curb stomp. He'll go back to the Phoenix Splash, which is much more impressive. But God, Britt's curb stomp looks really brutal. It's the move that Vince McMahon banned because he had a moment when he thought, what if my grandkids decided to do that? So he banned the move because he was all of a sudden, that one's actually a bit much even for me. And when you see Britt's one, you go, yeah, I can understand, Vince, why.
Going back to the punt kick.
Because he actually... Yeah, that was the other one. Well, yeah, the last person who got punt kicked was Vince. So, some props to AEW here. You said about Girl Wardlow. Yes. I mentioned this to the Raptor, is Jamie Hayter is doing exactly the same storyline as Wardlow is doing, except it's completely different.
She's not a face at all.
No, but it's completely different. It's exactly the same storyline, but it's completely different, and it feels like a different storyline. And I think some props need to go out for their writing on that when you're doing two things that are so parallel.
Anything which puts more Jamie Hayter on my screen pleases me, because she's from Stardom and she hurts people.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
In all the times that I've watched, the only Jamie Hayter stuff I've seen is her as I'm going to sideline attraction, kind of put that.
Watch her as Red Velvet. Halfway through the match, Red Velvet realises she's in a Stardom match. Right, let's go on. Oh, go on.
No. We're moving on.
Statlander and Hirsch had a promo against each other. Statlander, once again, no longer an alien. That's gone. I don't blame your parents for giving you up for adoption. It's a bit of a line, isn't it, for a promo?
It's a bit of a line for the baby face.
Yeah.
Is she a baddie? That's literally what I wrote. The only thing I wrote about it. Is she a fucking baddie?
No, Statlander's about the one woman on the roster I don't think you could turn.
Apparently she's doing it herself. She said this the other week in the first promo where Statlander said something, a little bit. No, I'm aware that she's in the best friends, and the best friend normal thing is meta-tweeneriness of being a twat. But I don't know. Maybe don't make adoption jokes. I'm not adopted.
I don't think she's as good at getting it to come across as Chucky and Trent are. I think that's the problem.
Deadpan.
Yeah.
Yeah, no fair. Right, so we'll skip on that one. Hook versus Lee. Hook wins with the red rum, obviously. No intro for Lee. F for him in his life. Nice little start with Hook out wrestling Lee, and I thought that's where it was going to go, if I'm honest. Was all very one-sided and basically a squash. The thing I've noticed which makes Hook squash matches a little better is all of his moves are counters into cool suplexes and stuff. He's very smooth and cinematic to watch. And he did the Samoa Joe step out the way spot, which was... he's done his dad's bounce up from a pile driver and that. He's just going to do all of the old fucking ECW TNA things, I think. I think he needs to take more offense. In his first couple of matches, he actually took some punches and had to recover from things and bounce back. Whereas now he's just sort of coming in. And as I said, it is counter-technical wrestling, but I'm not a fan of one-sided beatdowns. Anyway, Hook wins. He needs to take some more moves. He's over as fuck. He's got a great look, but he's become more indestructible, and I think they need to wheel that back. I'm still fully on the fucking Hook train. I still gave this a C for a squash because I love him and I appreciate how they're using him. And we don't see him every week. It's every other week. So we can fucking calm down.
I'm going to say something that I wasn't expecting going into this match because I'm not as much in love with the man as you are. I fucking loved this match. Not necessarily because of the movesets. Some of the moves were beautiful. Like some of the tosses that I don't know judo names for tosses, or when Excalibur and the like say all these crazy names and just go, that just looked like a hip toss from a bit further from me, whatever. Like the psychology he's really getting over now. He's going hard line on that. I don't give a shit. I'm not here to pander to the crowd. I'm not here to piss the crowd off. I'm not even really here to pay any attention to the person I'm murdering. I'm really starting to really enjoy that. This was massively different to the Fuego was the last one he fought, wasn't it? Was it Fuego?
The last one was Serpentico. The Fuego.
So yeah, it was Fuego was before,
really
wasn't it?
good. Yeah.
Serpentico was with the tassels, wasn't it? That was right. I saw more in this fight of where he can end up, because there was all visually as well. They've taken off some of the sheen almost literally from him, so he didn't look as tanned. He didn't look as gelled with the hair, and I think he had grown a little bit of his chest hair in as well, which he's hitting puberty quite nicely. There was just something about this match I enjoyed far more than any of his others, for me personally.
He gets a lot of charisma over in how he acts. Like when he does the headbutt on the corner, he stumbles back for a second after he does it and stuff like that. Again, he's probably being taught by everybody's best. I know him and Shotty Lee hang out with Daniel Bryan, and obviously his dad is Taz. He played lacrosse all his life, so it's a good start. Go on, Morg.
Yeah.
My new fanboy crush.
What score did you give it, Mo?
I gave it a high C.
So I gave it was good, better than a squash.
Yep.
So I ranked this on more again on its squash. Now, having listened to the both of you and thought about it more, I'm going to push mine up to a C.
Amazing.
Because actually, I am on board with Hook, but I don't know. The thing you've said, Strange, Hook is the one person I don't care. No, I don't want him to take an offensive move, because at the minute, what you have on your hands is a new young Goldberg. And I think you've got that, and I think he's got everything. I don't know if he can talk, which would make him exactly like a new young Goldberg.
I've seen him buying toys on Ethan Page's blog.
Oh shit! Oh, he's another one like Ethan Page. I can't tell the Raptor these, because I told him about Ethan Page with Danhausen. I go, do you know Ethan Page? You know, the guy who's like a complete dick. Yeah, he's a massive nerd who buys toys, and this brings her so much joy. But yeah, no.
Get her to watch his food blog, where they always have like a 5-minute scene of 10 eating food in slow motion.
But
saying about the young Goldberg, sorry, I'm going to interrupt the young Goldberg thing. I would be so much more involved if they just started making up win-loss records for him. They just skipped 20 just at a time. Yeah, he murdered a load of lads in the car park. We counted it.
Yeah. Yo, no, I'm down with you there. Yeah. Put him on a streak. But yeah, no, I'm totally down with Hook just being the new Goldberg. Either that, or he joins Daniel Bryan and Mox in their new Cobra Kai stable as their star student. But he doesn't need them like someone like the other guys do.
My prediction is he'll take out Dante Martin after Dante Martin beats Hobbs again soon, and they'll go on Hook, eat him alive. He'll recover it, and it's a perfect character for him. Right, the finale! Hooray! Mark Henry interviews the Guns and Jungle People. Guns were dressed beautifully. Oh, it was wonderful. The parents talked for their kids, obviously. Christian still being a heel, basically going, your team's not good enough, which is a bit weird. Dino Saw did his little thing. I'm not quite sure why Jurassic Express got the heel role in the speech. It's like they're trying to be the Rock from the heyday, but they're not the Rock from the heyday. You know, little bit strange energy to me, unless they're actually going to turn heel. But anyway, Dino Friends versus the Guns. Jungle Boy wins with the kill switch, which is a terrible finisher that's really clumsy and awkward to set up. Strong wrestling start with Jungle Boy versus Austin. I really like Austin. He's phenomenal. I like him a lot more when he's face. But Jungle Boy overcomes him, obviously. Then he overcomes Colton. Then Dinosaur beats them both for a bit. Heel break. The break comes and the heels take control, obviously. Back to the standard formula here, slowing the pace and beating on Jungle Boy. Break ends, resurrecting Jungle Boy like Jesus on, Passover. But shenanigans take out Dinosaur so he doesn't get his hot tag, and Jungle Boy can take a beating for a little bit longer. Anyway, the hot tag happens. Luchasaurus beats both of them for a bit. He does his standing moonsault, which is actually really impressive. We haven't seen Hangman's floating moonsault in a while. Shooting star press, that's really good. Austin gets a good sequence of trickery. He did a wonderful under the ropes leg snatch on Luchasaurus. And a cheeky belt shot, but Jungle Boy kicked out of that. And then Jungle Boy did Christian's finisher and won. I think it was fine. I'm not sure on the energies of who is exactly what role. And it was very much this is how Jurassic Express match goes. We dominate, you get heel control, Jungle Boy eats shit for the entirety of break. It's never Luchasaurus. Hot tag to Luchasaurus, wipes the ring, back to Jungle Boy for the win. It was a C. Standard wrestling. Didn't really feel like a big title match. But C, good, fine.
Yeah, I actually also gave it a C. Probably the first time that we've agreed in for Rampage. But it all felt a little bit strange. I thought that Gun Club did some beautiful heel work. I really wanted to see more of them after this match. Right. I feel like this has done more for them as a new person coming in to AEW. I instantly just like, oh, that's cool. They were dressed like fucking late 90s Shawn Michaels. So I was, I popped a little bit when I looked at it. I was like, it's got to be a homage to Shawn Michaels. There's no way around that being. I thought, and it goes to show how well they had done it, that when, I can't remember which of the Gun Boys it was, come and grab the leg of Luchasaurus to drag him off so they couldn't get the tag, that actually looked like he had really hurt him. I looked at it and I was like, he has just twatted him in the side of the knee. That actually looked really like he had done some damage. I was really impressed with how it looked, because it legitimately looked real to me, and Luchasaurus obviously didn't do fuck all to him. But this felt, other than the Gun Club doing cool stuff and making us look really cool, felt very Rota by the numbers of what I have now seen of Jurassic Express. Are they calling them Jurassic Express anymore? Because they didn't when they came down as well. I may be paying more attention to the names than I should do, but they didn't name them as Jurassic Express. They named them as Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy.
Oh, I noticed that.
Yeah. So I don't know whether they've removed that, because is it Marco's stunt? Because again, this is before my time. He's pretty much gone, right? Like done and dusted, and that's what made them Jurassic.
Looks that way. Yeah, that's who they were. Now it's Christian and kids.
Christian family. The one thing I did like is that they've taken the kill switch, or Jungle Boy's taken the kill switch. Hopefully, it looks like what it looks like, but hopefully that means they're going to take the things from Christian, and he can back off a little bit, and hopefully they can learn to talk.
I think he's there just to cover the fact that they can't talk as much. I gave it a C. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. Again, I agree. I thought Gun Club looked brilliant, or the Ass Boys looked brilliant. Sorry, that Danhausen episode. Back to Danhausen. He's going to have a match, and it's going to be really disappointing. It was a good match. It was a good standard wrestling match, tag team wrestling match. It was very good. I loved the taking out Luchasaurus. One of the problems is you're always going to have Luchasaurus getting the hot tag, because Jim Ross is a massive fan of Luchasaurus as the hot tag and has stated he thinks that he is the hottest tag in wrestling. And I understand why. It's because Jurassic Express...
I would agree if it wasn't like a combination of 3 things in a sequence.
No,
always the same.
It's not that. I think it's more to do with that Jungle Boy is so good at selling and actually building up sympathy. And when he tags Luchasaurus, he tags an actual monster. In the tag division, Lucha is a...
How long do you think that's going to last? Because there has to be a point where people stop giving a shit that he's dying every week.
It's been 2 years. They don't.
Yeah, a good baby face, a good. I mean, Jungle Boy's my guy to take the title off MJF after MJF takes it off Hangman.
Needs to work on a bit more.
Again, we're looking 2 years down the line there.
Anyway, gentlemen, that is the show. Got the rankings. Guess what?
Yeah, I see.
No clever negotiation on this one. We all seem to, realistically, other than Morg, our resident flippy shitter, biggest fan, Hook was the best as usual. So overall, it could be a low B or a high C, but seeing as I watched Rampage last, it's a high C. Been a pretty good week in wrestling. A lot of good shit happened. There was some story, but some other stuff just wasn't quite nailed. And they gave Jade a match. She's your Adam Cole.
I haven't got one. Who do I hate at the minute?
You're the most positive of us.
You don't.
Oh no, I know who I hate at the minute. I know who I hate at the minute, but I hate a guy I should hate. I just hate him for the wrong reasons. It's MJF's winning streak. That's the thing really fucking annoys me. That does.
I hate Buck's winning streak.
Yeah, the MJF winning streak, because I think it hurts him more than it helps him. And he can't fucking lose to Punk in the second match.
He'll lose at some point. He's a comedy wrestler, but he doesn't give a shit where he loses. He'll style it out. He's a theatre kid.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't care. It's very specifically the way he is being booked that I have an issue with. It's the old... So, we haven't got anything extra for discussion this week. It's going to be a short show, mainly because I had a very long day at work. So, if you want to send... And we haven't had any letters, messages, or anything else. So, please, send us things to book. Send us your favourite matches. Tell us what you thought of the show. Send us stuff to be angry about. Strange hasn't had a good rant about something randomly that we've just dropped on him from out of nowhere for a while that isn't Adam Cole. So you can send stuff to us. We are wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook and WrestleOP1 on Twitter. I miss Muir doing that because I didn't have to remember them all. I want to thank Anchor.fm for hosting the podcast. You can find us WrestleOpinionated on YouTube, Anchor.fm, Spotify and Twitch. Over to you, Mo.
Thanks very much. Lovely to see you all. My moment is the fact that I'm not the only one hating Jay Cargill right now. Salty Mo today.
That's your moment. Hi. My name's Matt Strange. You've clearly enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. A real person who truly likes their friends and wants to support people do that. Maybe leave a little comment. Mo's friend did last week. Hi, Mo's friend. I'm over with you, apparently. Why not send us a question? We can answer that. So yes, please like, share, subscribe, tattoo my face on your window. I don't know. The soul, your eyes. I've lost my thing. Like, share, subscribe, click all the star buttons. Cheers, yo.
All that's left to be said is goodbye and good night.